Welcome back everyone, my name is Alfie and today I will be explaining how I do my technical analysis, and I will explain some different technical indicators that I use and I think are very helpful for looking at charts, so you can do some technical analysis yourself and help predict some good entries and some good exits as well. I will be explaining this using CHZ, and let's start with the absolute basics, which is a trend line. I already drew some here. Let's start by doing that. A trend line is a simple tool. You always have to go to TradingView on Binance, by the way, to do this, or use another platform, whatever. You just go to this button on the left side, and then you select the trend line. Here you can select the colors, the thickness of the line and stuff like that. But for now, that's not as important. You draw a trend line most of the time by choosing multiple points where the graph actually touches this trend line. The more points you have, the better the trend line is, basically, or the more accurate it is. When doing this, you should always look at the wicks from the graph, and the wicks are the little smaller lines you see over here, so not the bigger, thicker columns, but the smaller ones. Right now you can see that I started at the bottom of this one, and then I went up to this one, which doesn't have a wick actually. So then you can draw it right through there. You can do this on a ascending channel like this, but also on a descending channel. This is very useful because when you make it on a descending channel and an ascending channel, you can see a breakout point. This is called a breakout point. Once the price goes either up from here or down from here, you can look at possible entries. And you do this by combining these tools with a Fibonacci resistance. And the Fibonacci resistance is located below the trendline button. You just click on this small button and then you go to the Fibonacci retracement, which is over here. You can scale the graph so you have a better idea of what to do. And then you select the lowest point, the most recent lowest point, that's what I always use. And you draw that up to the absolute top of the graph. Now you can see that there are different zones here that are marked off. These zones, they represent some levels, some ratios, which you can see over here. Some ratios in the price difference. They are very helpful for looking at resistances and supports. And what I mean by that is, for example, when we zoom in at this point over here, you can see that there are many wicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. Let's look at the 1 hour chart, by the way, because that's more representative. Okay. I think I have to do my Fibonacci retracement again. This is 1 second. Let's get the Fibonacci tool out again. Bottom all the way to the top. And let's look at the resistances. Okay, let's take a look at this resistance over here. This one. You can see on this chart that the price of chilies in this case has tried to reach this resistance for quite some time, for about one day or something. And every time it touched it, you can see that it got rejected and rejected and rejected until it finally broke. And when such a resistance is broken, then it is a good time to start investing most of the time, because then you have confirmation that the price is going up. And you see that it kept going up, and then it went close to the upper resistance and then down, and you can see that it tried to break the previous resistance, which is now called as support, but it didn't manage to, so it stayed stationary on there for a while, and now it's trying to break up to the next resistance. This is very useful to find a good entry as well. And another very useful tool, at least for me, is moving averages. As you can see, standard on Binance, you will get some moving averages. You can use these, but I prefer to use others, and I will explain which ones. You can get these by clicking on this button on the top, the technical indicator, and then just search for moving, and you will see moving average. You click on that, and then it will appear. Now I changed the settings to, most of the time I have around 4 of these. I have one at 200, one at 100, one at 50, and one at 30, I think. And these are very useful for me because the number that you put in to the moving average represents the amount of days. This means that an average price over 200 days is calculated on this line, basically. And as you can see, we can use the moving average to look for a potential entry as well, because the moving average was going up, and it's still going up. That means that the price is still bullish, and it touched this moving average, and from there it went up more. And now it's still going up. Another very useful technical indicator I use is the Ichimoku Cloud. You can get this one by searching for the Ichimoku Cloud on the technical indicator again. And I just use the standard settings for this one. The Ichimoku Cloud has a lot of smaller technical indicators, but we will be mostly looking at the cloud itself. The cloud is this part over here, the green and the red lines. And the distance from the green to the red line represents the volatility of the price. So the bigger the cloud is, the more volatile the price is. The green line represents the short-term predictions of price, and the red line represents the midterm price prediction. For example, after the massive pump that occurred some time ago, the price went down and went right through the Ichimoku Cloud, as you can see over here. This is generally a really bearish sign. So you would sell at the point where the Ichimoku Cloud is broken, if you want to invest midterm. And then a good entry would be when the Ichimoku Cloud is broken, but to the upside, which you can see happened over here. First it touched the Ichimoku Cloud, and then it went right through. And right now it's above the Ichimoku Cloud. This means that the price is bullish right now. And when it's below the cloud, that means that it's bearish. The Ichimoku Cloud also has two other indicators. Let's see if we can find those. Yep, that's this blue line over here, which follows the price pretty exactly, and a red line, which you can see when we zoom in. It's a bit hard for me to see because of the sun outside. This red line over here. Now, when the blue line is above the red line, the price is still bullish. When the red line is above the blue line, the price is bearish in most cases. which you can see over here when the price was going down. When the blue line crosses the red line, which happened over here, that would be a very good entry in most cases, because that means that the price is getting bullish and it will most likely go up. When the red line crosses the blue line, then most of the times it's a good time to sell. Maybe we can see that in the 50 minutes. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, it's really hard for me to see. Okay, so right here, the blue and the red line are on the exact same level, which is, I've actually never seen that before, but okay. But over here, you could see that the red line crossed the blue line, and then you could sell at this point, and then you saw that the price drops a little bit further. And then, of course, this is a really hard entry to find, except for when you have the trend line, but I drew this trend line after I've seen that little spike over there. And then here, the blue line crosses over to the red line again. Actually, they are on the exact same graph, but that doesn't really matter. You can see that at least when these lines cross each other over on an ascending channel, that means that it's a good entry, generally. Of course, crypto is very unpredictable and could always be wrong. For example, you can see that the Ichimoku Cloud here is pretty stationary. Well, actually, if we look at the 50 minutes chart, you can see that the cloud is followed very well some time ago. Let me see if I can find it. Over here, this would be a very good example of a graph respecting the cloud itself, because we can draw a line over here on the edge of the cloud, and you can see that the price is almost exactly followed by the graph itself, like this. Then from here there's a little ramp and it went up, and here there's a ramp again and it didn't move much, so it doesn't always work. For example, there's a little ramp over here and it went up again, and the same thing might happen in a few hours over here. We will see, but could be the case. Well, these are the basic technical indicators I use, and I hope this video was helpful and helped you learn a little bit about some technical indicators and how to do a very simple and basic technical analysis. Thank you for watching.